brother is creeping up on us. A world where surveillance by the state is the norm, where Big Brother can peer into our homes and our workplaces. New surveillance technologies are bringing us closer to a time when our movements are tracked, when we will no longer have any secrets, where there will be no borders, where there will be no place to be free. We are coming to the end of privacy.
The FBI and the government no longer restricts itself to collecting information about people they suspect of crimes. They have built national databases about every single citizen in this country.
Perhaps the most important development in surveillance is the linking of cameras to computer databases. In October 1998, police officials in the Newham section of East London installed a revolutionary computer-controlled surveillance system called FACEIT, which automatically tracks police-designated target faces. As people approach one of the 144 closed-circuit television cameras in the neighborhood, their images are fed to the security center. The FACEIT software matches their faces to a database of known criminals. If the computer recognizes a target face, an alarm sounds, and the police are alerted. Under the proper conditions, the FACEIT system can make an identification even if the person is wearing glasses, makeup, or facial hair.
Whenever we see closed-circuit television systems merging with telecommunications networks, alarm bells automatically ring. We know that the next stage is the transmission of images about our day-to-day life to other locations for analysis and for storage. That's very dangerous.
For many people, the fear is that once installed, video surveillance systems can be used by governments to maintain control of their citizens. The use of surveillance cameras to identify and arrest Chinese pro-democracy demonstrators is a notorious example. Surveillance cameras were mounted throughout Tiananmen Square. The images they recorded were broadcast over Chinese television and used to identify almost all of the targeted dissidents.
A vital element in surveillance is the ability to rapidly access the most up-to-date personal or criminal files. And there is talk of connecting most of the free world's police systems to create one massive global police database. Those biological characteristics that are unique to us, our fingerprints, our eyes, our voices, and even our body odors, are going to be used as biological proof of our identity.
Biometrics is the measurement of the human body.
County, Virginia, is one of the first jurisdictions in the country to implement biometric databases that comply with FBI initiatives for a national criminal database.
The FBI initiative will require all 50 states in the United States to transmit fingerprints to them electronically.
Databases of people's digitized recorded faces are being collected in countries around the world, not just by police departments. 3 states were recently forced to stop sending driver's license photos to a databank company in New Hampshire when the public discovered that funding came from the Secret Service.
We can now link a face which is recognized by a camera straight through to a police database. Theoretically, it is possible to link that face to the car which has been registered by that name, and for that person's whereabouts to be tracked.
You know, Acton said it, power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely, and the government is becoming more and more powerful and citizens are becoming more passive, and so it's scary.
The information age gives us instant access across borders, but electronic fingerprints and low-key encryption put our privacy in the hands of others, and the government is pushing for more and more control.
Right now, the FBI has a program it's pushing where it will be, in effect, in charge of the telephone systems of the United States. This is bizarre. This is sort of like Hungary or Russia in the middle of the Cold War, that the government is controlling the switchboards of the largest telephone companies.
And now, global surveillance networks are being established with international cooperation.
Most of us are not aware of the fact that the intelligence-gathering organizations of the free world have put together a system called Echelon, which is capable of intercepting all the world's communications at any time. That's all the world's communications, be it police, taxi cab, telephone, television, radio, cell phone, email, the laptops, all the world's communications are susceptible to intercept via this system called Echelon, and that's a very, very scary thing.
Dr. Michael?
I'm playing with my car this morning.
You hear about the stories about the satellites who were able to pick up little things on top of Gorbachev's desk and so forth. Well, that's the type of system we're talking about. There are 13 satellites located throughout the world that cover various regions of the world. This sounds very conspiratorial, very paranoid thinking, but the European Parliament has proved that the system does exist, that it is operational, and that these satellites are positioned throughout the world where they pick up communications, electronic communications within each region.
Freed from the old constraints of copper wires, our voices and our data are now circling the globe via satellite, microwaves, and fiber optic links. In an operation likened to driftnet surveillance, Echelon captures those signals and downloads them to supercomputers. Keywords or voice recognition are then used to pick out the information the agencies are interested in. Canada's CSE is a poor cousin to America's National Security Agency, the NSA. It is the biggest brother in the world spy family. It is the largest, most secretive, and potentially the most intrusive intelligence agency in the world. It dwarfs both the CIA and the FBI in budget, manpower, and influence.
NSA and the Pentagon have been allowed to get increasingly involved in domestic law enforcement activities and domestic intelligence gathering activities.
The surveillance machine is humming away in secret, scanning the electronic traffic, waiting for a new list of keywords, a list that might one day pop up with our name, our email address, and our telephone number, and we'll never know how or why we have become a target of the state. Resistance to an ever-widening surveillance network of a technology-adept big brother is difficult, especially when surveillance is presented as something that will make our lives more secure, something that is good for us. All the while, our privacy slips further and further out of our control until we are ultimately left naked with no place to hide.